A very good morning to all the viewers. Hiregange Academy is a knowledge and employability initiative started in 2014, and we have served around 20,000 job seekers, professionals in making themselves better job ready and also practice ready. We have done courses like Excel, English language, accounting, and of course, our strength of indirect taxes, mainly GST. After a lot of time, I have started focusing on growth as one of the areas which is possible for every human being on earth. Anybody who wants to help himself can look at adding something to his life so that he or she is better off than yesterday. Towards this, a few tips which may be known to many to hasten or fast track this growth plan. I have been a professional for 36 years and built a organization with around 100 professionals, chartered accountants, advocates, CMAs in the past 20 years maybe. I think 2002 or 3 I started this initiative, and now we are in 2024. We are located in 14 locations, and we have found a fail-safe method of growing. In this particular slide, we will look at how to build a flourishing practice. What are the action plans you need to take? It is said that ideas mean nothing unless they are put in action. Therefore, implementation is the key for all achievement in life. Even if I am above average, which I am, I have been able to reach some good heights in contribution in the ICAI leadership, in leadership among the motivators, and of course, in indirect taxes. We are going to start with some common questions all of us have as regards the topic of attracting clients. Then we will look at some foundation building methods, a small self evaluation for all of you. I will wait for 2-3 minutes. Keep quiet, at which time you can evaluate yourself. And then, of course, the key, how to attract opportunity to serve. And I would conclude. What are the common questions which I have come across from CAs in practice? I must have met around 10,000 chartered accountants, maybe 20,000 students in my journey in the ICAI for 6 years, in the Board of Studies, in exams, and of course in the GST committee, which was called the Indirect Tax Committee at that time. So what are the questions which CAs have? In the initial stages, how do I get clients? People are focused more on this and miss out on doing certain things, which I would like to touch on. For those who are already in practice and I have a few clients, how do I get additional clients? After that, once I have clients and a few clients enough to, I would say, manage my living reasonably, then I look at how do I get the type of clients I wish. For example, I want to have clients who have full confidence in me. But what does that depend on? That depends on how I am, not on the client. The client is the same. How to keep the consistent workflow so that I'm able to have work throughout the year rather than peak times only. How can I get clients who respect me, pay adequately, and refer me to more clients? Many people answer this by saying there is no such person. But let me tell you, lots of clients are there in this category. Again, as I said earlier, I should be respectable. I should be providing value so that they pay me adequately. And I should be humble and serving that particular client for him or her to refer more clients. So, therefore, foundation building is the key. I have felt that in my own life, in the early part of it, between say the age of 27 when I qualified and the age of 40, I had not done great in profession. I was not very happy, not very fulfilled. People around me were not very happy, whether it was friends or family. I knew I was doing something wrong. And luckily, in my search for solutions, I got one particular thought process, which was setting up goals. I set up my personal goals. I also set up my professional goals. Professional goals were to create leaders. It was not to get more clients. Have a people focus, contribute to the community in which I live, contribute to the chartered accountants, contribute to the students, and contribute to the industry and trade. You would be surprised. How can you do all this when you don't have money, you don't have clients? But this is the foundation which works. If you serve the student community, you get very good articles, very good assistants. Your people issue is taken care. You take care of them. Look at their aspirations. Ensure that your office environment has skill building, motivational, talks like this, where they can become better leaders. Contribution to the profession. Today we have more than 1,000 chartered accountants referring to us work in 14 locations. We don't compete with other chartered accountants. We cooperate with them, even if they are in indirect tax, by having open forums, discuss the latest issues in indirect tax or in other taxes also. We have an organization called Akshara Study Circle, and that has been in existence now, I think, for about 28 years. It meets to discuss common issues in all areas. And of course, when the GST had just come, we had spent a lot of time on empowering people in GST. So the profession and the members, people who don't understand, will tell them, you do it. Why don't you start litigation now? Don't wait for litigation to become too much. Start now. Appear before the lower authorities. We will support you. At times when there is a need, we will also appear on behalf, of course, on professional basis, and we will advise you when you give opinions. So did this reduce our work? No, this increased our work. So setting professional goals was to create leaders, contribute to all the segments who are in touch with us. We also realized that most of the professionals in India provide superficial knowledge. Lakhs of them are there. But client doesn't want superficial knowledge. He can get that from ChatGPT or Google. He wants wisdom. He wants solutions. He wants practically working advice. While the subject which you provide service, whether it is income tax or it is forensics, cyber security, foreign trade policy, any area which you give advice, you should have an edge in the knowledge which you profess, you know. This is also not enough, while this has to be ever continuing exercise. For example, we have in our office every Saturday 3 hours dedicated to this knowledge edge, which also includes skill development, which also includes attitude development, which also ensures that there is some participation in preparation of such presentations. Skill enhancement is very important today. Many of us know that AI is for the future. Whichever area I practice in, I need to know artificial intelligence, whether I'm going for a job or I'm going to a multinational firm or I'm going to a multinational company. I need to know AI. I need to know technology. So what do? I keep quiet. I spend little off and on. I spend some time on it. This is not going to work. We have to get to learn various tools which are there, Python, Power BI, query. You could also look at, forensics, new areas where the digital uh, revolution is impacting. Automation, for example, is a very big area which is required by the MSME and SME sector. But are they able to access that? We, the professionals, should be providing that by enhancing our digital skills. While doing all these, one important aspect is if we want to make all the mistakes and learn from them, our practice will take a little time. Why not we piggyback? Join a firm which is providing the services which we plan to provide. Learn to some extent, maybe 2 years, like an internship. Don't bother about the salary too much. Of course, it should be enough and reasonable, but don't bother too much. Take the opportunity to learn with somebody who's already providing service there. Once I start my practice, I realized, once I started my practice, I realized people are the most important. And that is why we took on the purpose of having committed professional leaders. We also added ethical to that because we feel tomorrow is all about transparency and integrity. People who have those qualities are people who are going to attract clients. It is not enough if I have that. My whole team, today our team is 500 plus. Our whole team should also be having those values. We in India sometimes grow up in restricting environment. Parents want to protect us. People don't want us to fail. And therefore they will tell us, don't do this, you will fall, don't join CA, your academics is not good. Don't. And all these don't become crutches for us. Instead of learning to run, we only learn to walk fast. So developing a winning attitude is very, very important. The last point, which is very important, is that we are what our subconscious is. Our subconscious is a bundle of thoughts and emotions. Emotions like being sad, being empathetic, having passion, being having a learning attitude, being supported, working from abundance. Negatives also could be there. So emotions make up what we are. Change your thoughts and emotions and change your life, it says. Change your narrative about yourself and change your life. These foundational parts of our life are very, very important. You will find that on our website, we have a large number of articles on each of these. You could possibly, if interested in any area, either on LinkedIn or on our website, you could possibly have a look and see whether any of these articles help you. About 14, 15 empowering articles are there. And I have been writing on LinkedIn for a few years, CA Club India earlier, but now I'm writing only on LinkedIn. Let's look at what all is required for us to attract clients. One is location. There have to be clients for me to provide service. Of course, you may argue, sir, today in this virtual world, I can provide service from anywhere in the world, even from a small village. You are right. You can provide service from the village also, small town, as long as connectivity, continuity of the internet is assured. However, what I have seen is that the virtual world gives only lower value, services to people whom they don't meet. The higher value jobs which are there are only after the person who is giving the job, the customer or the client, meets you and gets a sense about you, or you have already established what you are, what you represent, what type of service levels you have. If you've already done all that, then I reckon you can practice from anywhere where you have internet. You don't have to be in a big city or town. Therefore, economic viability also is very important. The second point, which is very, very important, is many of us end up doing what everybody else is doing. Now, if everybody else is doing something, the competition will be more. The amount which you earn as professional fees or salary will be much lower if you are equal to everybody. What is the service offering which you are giving, which is unique? Unique selling service proposition, unique selling product. If I'm making maybe bots for GST compliance or automation, what is it that I'm offering which is additional? Do I offer digital training to all the employees of my client, whether directly or indirectly? Just think about it. What is unique in what you do, and that would possibly get you more work? Knowledge and expertise has to be compared with what is already available in the market. I might have entered the market only in last 2 years, but there are people who have been in the market for the last 10 years. How can I fast track my knowledge to come near them? How can I fast track, get more and more experience, wisdom, so that my expertise also can be comparable to the other professionals in my area? One aspect which I found which can make you unique is pure client centric approach. That doesn't mean that you become subservient to the client and whatever they want you to do. You will do what a professional should do, but you will be totally client centric. Client comes number one. I come number two. Maybe not even two. I come number three. Two is my team. How am I ensuring that service will continue beyond me? How can I continue? How can I assure that I can give this personal service, customized service in any part of India? Do I have branches? Do I have a good network with quality control? These are probably questions which sometimes clients do not ask out of politeness, but they say no because that is not there. One aspect which I have seen in professionals, even the largest firms in India, when I have talked to them on matters of collaboration, quality control in service delivery is not great in India. It's a fact. Even in our office, it's a big challenge to ensure quality. We have exams regularly for people, even for the qualified. We have a peer review system. We have a third party review system. We also have audits and quality control random verification, which are taken up. These are all what are supposed to be done. We do it to a certain extent, I would say. And we have found that it's very useful. And if we were to take it to the next level, then hardly anybody could compete with us. When we are talking to client, one important aspect is client has something in his mind. Client, ha- Client has something, some experience, which he may or may not be able to translate and tell you. We have to probe. We have to get clarity on what he wants. See that we get complete information, not half of information just to quickly finish the job. Listening is very, very important. The skill of listening. In fact, we have articles on that also in the website I mentioned. Timeliness. No client likes to get his or her work delayed, whether the response to their inquiry or response to the final job which is given. Say an appeal is given, you have maybe 40 days left. Doesn't mean that you will start working on the 35th day. Please start working on the first day itself. 5 days time, finish the appeal, send it to the client, seek their inputs, have a talk with them, explain to them what is your view. They may be able to add some strength to your reply. Remember, the client knows his business better than you can ever know. You may be a qualified person, triple graduate, client may be an educated person, but let me tell you, he is a client who is an entrepreneur. He's able to make money, and therefore his knowledge has to be respected. And I have seen that they have so much of knowledge. What I have learned in my life is from clients. 7,000, 8,000 clients I have served. I'm saying, and I have learned from them so much. Today, technology, as I said earlier, is so important. I myself am technologically challenged in some aspects. I have some ideas, but do I know to do it? No. Maybe I should have spent more time. Now I'm 63 and I do not do any client execution or client facing jobs other than discussions. And my technology usage is very poor. Sometimes I feel very sad for myself that I'm not as efficient as the article who joins my office at the age of 18. They are far faster than me. They know so many things which I don't know even at now. It's another fact that in 1987, I had a computer. I had a PC, big one, for which I had paid quite a lot, taken a loan and all that. But in spite of donkey's years going, I have not learned all the shortcuts. Whenever developments took place, I continued to be in the older version. I was okay in using Lotus 123. When Excel came, I didn't go for any of the classes, thinking that Lotus 123 is good enough and Excel is only a variation of Lotus 123. And I had to pay a big price for it because I'm not as confident using technology at all. I don't even understand it sometimes. What about the values of professionalism? What are the values of professionalism? Integrity, confidentiality, versatility. These are all available in our code of conduct, whether it is the advocates code of conduct or the ICI or CS code of conduct. Everywhere it is very well explained. And these are important aspects. Don't assume that only when I get big clients, I have to exhibit professionalism. Big or small, professionalism is expected out of all of us. All these competent components are required for us to attract clients. To what extent we continuously do this is important. I have seen in my life, wherever I focused on building very effective teams, I have always said 15% of your professional time has to be in self development for the future. Think long term, don't think short term. Think long term, add competencies, add digital data analysis, add forensics, add knowledge of other laws. So many certificate courses are run by the institutes. Join as many as you can, especially in the first 10, 15 years of your practice. After that, possibly a little speed gets lost. I wish that all of you take a little time now and take a piece of paper or your PC itself and rank yourself. The ranking criteria is going to be 1 to 5. 1 is very little, whatever criteria we have put. Somewhat, I think enough. Very well. Yes, fully. These criteria, this ranking, you can do for this list of questions. 14 questions are there. My domain knowledge, I will try and rank myself so that I can give you an idea. Remember, I have been in the area of indirect tax practice now for 36 years. So if I ask myself, what is my domain knowledge? Past domain knowledge, I'm around 9. Current domain knowledge, I may be around 3. Communication skills is something I have focused on throughout, and even now I focus on it. So I would be around 7 or 8. Industry understanding is something which I have looked at, gaining from client to client, learning from clients, learning from industries, learning from trade. I would say it's about 6. Client knowledge of client's business. Today I don't handle any client's business. So my ranking today may be very low, maybe 4. But when I used to interact with the clients, my knowledge of client's business was certainly around 7. Analysis of public information which is available for our practice. Maybe I didn't rank too much, but I think that this is very important in this age. Active listening to clients. 1987, I started practice, started listening to clients in 2003. 16 years I lost because I never used to actively listen to the client. I used to listen just enough to come to a conclusion that this is what the client wants. Transparency about limitation. Very, very important. We think client will go away if we say that we can't do this job. So if somebody asks me, even today, that I want some advice on income tax, I will never say yes. I'll say I don't practice income tax. I hardly know anything about income tax. My income tax is handled by another professional. Or I say that I do have some collaborated organizations who provide income tax services, or they provide patent advice, or they provide foreign exchange management services, FEMA. I could suggest their names if you want. but we don't go overboard in suggesting because that can have its own issues. Very, very important for clients. Please see that you give hands-on service, not something through the junior most person in the organization. Hands-on service is what brings clients in, what makes them close to you, what makes them refer work. Remember, the client is our annadata and he can deliver like anything. Day before yesterday, a multinational approached me and they said, so and so CFO referred your name. Now, this CFO, I had given service 15 years back, but I used to give hands on service in those days, and he remembered. After 15 years, he remembered and he referred me today. And what was the size of the client? The size of the client is in tens of thousands of crores. The company which I had given service had around 800 crores at that time. Now, of course, it must be 4,000-5,000 crores. Network professionals, very, very important. You can't be an expert in all areas. So network with professionals. I'm talking professionals, okay, not brokers. Don't network with incompetents. Otherwise, your competence also will get reduced. Network with professionals. And if I were to look at it, transparency about limitation, I forgot to tell you my ranking. My ranking would have been about 9. When I was doing service, delivery on hands-on service, it would have been 8. Network professionals was a little low in the past, but as I grew in my profession, this became maybe around 6, but still not too good. Do we have to understand clients' value systems? Certainly, I would say. You can have your own value systems, but you have to understand clients' value systems. The background with which the client comes can be different from yours. He or she may have a different experience in life. Their objectives may be different from you. To understand it, give it highest ranking. For example, a client may not be looking at ethics at all, while you may give him the better side of it, saying ethics is in the long-term good, etc. But if the client's issue is only to maximize his profit, then there is where you have to focus. Quality review systems. Have you done it for yourself? Have you done it for your teams? Have you seen that outside independent reviews are done? Client-centric approach. If I look at 11, if I look at 10, I think my ranking would have been 7. Quality review system, my ranking might have been 6. Client-centric approach, when I was doing it, of course, part of 4 also, it was pretty high. Feedback collection practice. I think I have failed here in my office. Not much of feedback is really collected, and only the really, what I would say, effective partners are doing this. Communication, information communication. Am I saying things clearly to my juniors? Am I saying things clearly to the client? I think I may be 3 here. Though I know how to communicate, somehow my communication is not understood by the other side many times. In fact, there was a joke that if Madhukar sends a mail, then there has to be a panel set up about what he wants. This is, of course, done internally. And I hope that this is not prevalent in all communications of mine. But I have not been very communicative is what I am told. Though I share a lot, the language, especially in the emails or SMSs, are very poor. Anyway, I think each of you can do your own ranking. And once you have done this ranking, look at what is your total score. If it is less than 30, then you are at the initial stage. A lot of work has to be done on all these aspects. That is, your foundation is weak. You have to put cement, you have to put jelly, you have to put bricks, you have to put a lot of steel, a lot of work is involved. If you're cross 30, you may be at an average level. So all the areas where you ranked yourself less than 4, please look at them, focus on them, spend 2 hours a day for 5 days a week on improving that from today onwards. 40 to 50, you can manage. But look at how you can polish the weaker areas, that is the ones less than 5. Above 50, you are ready to attract clients easily, but don't sit on that. Improve each area. For example, look at what is your strength. If your strength is great, improve it. If your strength is, let's say, grasping things properly, work on that also. Work on your strengths 40% of your time. Work on those areas of improvement 60% of your time. If you are above 55, you are like me. You are in a position to coach other professionals on client attraction. I hope you have been able to do this exercise, because this is the critical part of this advice, you could say, or this presentation, after which you will have to take action. So what are the strategies, common strategies for attraction to client? I have built my foundation now. Please tell me how I can attract clients more. Emphasizing excellent quality of work in your organization with yourself also. You know, there were times when I would do complicated opinions, and after I completed the opinion, after working on it 3 or 4 times, I would let it vegetate for overnight. Next day, I would come and do the final editing and send it to the client. And I found that added maybe about 5%. Upholding independence, integrity, and credibility for yourself at whatever cost. We lost one lot of clients because in the GST era, they asked us to compromise with our qualifications. We lost a lot of clients. But was it a real loss? No. What we gained when we lost the clients is our staff, the 400, 500 staff that we have, got pride in themselves. Our office, we are having full independence. First of all, our knowledge is at a high level. We are skilled and we are very independent. We keep to our word. Say, I am unable to give a reply in the time which I have promised. I get back to the client and tell them this is the reason, and I'm sorry that I'm unable to give you the opinion tomorrow. I require another three days time. Would you be able to provide me that? Client may say, no, I want it tomorrow. Then you sit overnight and do it. 99% client will say, it's all right, take a couple of days more, but I hope this does not repeat. So you shouldn't keep on asking client for additional time. Credibility is what happens on the other side. Once you give an opinion, once you have signed an audit report, how does the regulator look at? How does the tax authority look at that opinion? How does the MCA or the registrar of companies rate you about your independence, etc., in your audit reports? Increase your visibility through various channels. We'll look at it a bit more. What could be the channels, etc.? We'll see there. Building collaborations and networks with like-minded people with checks and balances. It should not happen that I build collaborations and we deliver work which is not up to the standard which you have been delivering. It should be higher. Serve the business chambers and associations. See, the chambers normally will not be having large amounts of money to pay your professional fees. Go and give free seminars. Have workshops, 20, 30 people, train them, especially the SMEs and MSMEs will, people will come, employees from there will come. Serve them in other capacities. Tell them how they can make themselves effective and ensure that your fees is appropriate. Remember, fees is not why we are here, but does not mean that we don't want more fees. I'll give you an example what we did. In the initial stages, my fee was, my income itself was very low for the first 10, 12 years. Then slowly as work increased, I started increasing my fee. Then I saw that increasing the fee led to some of the SME clients getting ignored. So then we did another system. We had a group of juniors with one senior in charge who would cater to them at the lower fee, while we could go ahead and have the seniors providing services to the bigger clients, well paying clients. Fees is not important. Automatically, if you do what we have looked at foundation, what we have thought of quality, fees comes automatically. And it is more than enough, let me tell you. Of course, we cannot be greedy and want crores of rupees as professionals, while there are professionals who do earn crores of rupees very easily every year. It doesn't mean that that is the yardstick. You don't require 100 crores as a professional per year. Maybe a crore, maybe a crore and a half could be your target in about 15, 20 years, and that should be sufficient. Because you remember, you have to keep yourself humble, you have to keep yourself grounded, you have to keep yourself affordable to as many clients as possible whom you have served. What are the visibility channels you can have? Website is one of the best. Have a dynamic website which can ask questions, which can answer questions. Today, AI also can help you there. Website should also have resources somewhere where many small things can be answered as it is. Maybe some short articles are there about issues which are current. Website can also have aspects relating to non-professional but useful, like the foundation areas which we talked about. It can have information on that for your employees as well as your clients. Attend seminars by others. Of course, you can also give your own seminars, be a guest lecturer in colleges, professional institutes, chambers. One of the things I felt which is very good for complementary, I would say, for enhanced practice and growth is writing short articles. I started with writing articles when I was around 35, and I ended up writing more than 38 books in indirect taxes jointly with many people. As time went, my contribution kept on reducing, and the main authors are the people who name comes after me, unfortunately. Sectoral books may be something which you can look at. Short training for sectors. New sectors are coming up, startups are coming up. Short training session, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours training, what they need to know about the area which you are specialized in. Online replies, if some of you are chartered accountants, I use this pdica.org as a method of learning. I became the number one answerer on PDICI, I think in the year 2007, and I was number one till 2010 or 12, after which many people overtook me, and I was in the council, and then I stopped. But let me tell you, the amount of learning I got from PDICI and the visibility I got when I said I was number one on this particular website, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountant Professional Development Committee's website, I got a lot of work flowing to me. Moving forward, how will you do this? Remember, ideas are delusions and hallucinations. They are of no use at all unless you do something about it. So if you are looking at this, as I mentioned earlier, for self-improvement, 2 hours into 5 days, this is not for knowledge in your area. Self-improvement, knowledge you have to spend separate time. Use additional resources and tools. Huge number of resources are available. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's already available. One important aspect is many of us do not take guidance. We think we are good enough. We are fools if we think that we know enough. Socrates, who was arguably one of the wisest human beings on earth 3000 years back, when asked about his knowledge, he said, I don't know about my knowledge, but I do know that I am ignorant in hundreds of thousands of areas. That means he said, I know the extent of my ignorance. I don't know the extent of my knowledge. If Socrates could have a view like that, I think all of us should have the healthy view. We don't know much, even if we have been doing it for 10, 20 years. If you once you have made your professional goals, revisit it every 3 years. It may not be relevant. It may require some tweaking. Keep acquiring new knowledge and skills. I think the way the change is happening in our world, you need to look at learning new skill every 6 months. Gaining experience in new areas. Just because you are good at one area does not mean you shouldn't look at other areas. Go and learn under some guru. Attracting, training, and retaining employees has become a very big job because people who, first of all, there are professional firms who say, oh, nowadays the articles who are coming are quizzing us. How many clients do you have? How much time you are going to train us? This is all bullshit. This is all bullshit. You become good. Let the market, the student market know that you are giving so much of knowledge, so much of training. Then you will find the best join you. We have had in many of the areas, many of the offices, not all. Many of the offices, the rank students join our office. Why? They don't join the multinational companies. They join us. Why? Because they've heard good things. They can learn. They get a work-life balance, whatever it is. And keep yourself in continuous training. Have a training calendar for the year for all levels. Retaining employees is not a joke. But I have seen in some locations we have hardly any persons leaving the office. For example, every year, if say 5 or 6 qualified are there in that office, 3 or 4 of them stick on for the next 10 years. Then they become partners. Then they themselves start having partners. So retaining employees also depends on what they want. They may not be wanting to be partners. They may be very good at execution. They may be introverts who want to do research. Give them the opportunity to do that. They may be very good at marketing. Okay, that is something which all of us lack as professionals. Within the ethical standards, put them in charge of the marketing of the firm. Develop a winning attitude. Again, developing a winning attitude means many things. I will be putting up some a comprehensive article on this, and also maybe at a later date, I will also have a video on this. Most important aspect, all the knowledge you have gained from this video, you might have known 80%, you might be getting 20. You might have known 50%, you got 50% new ideas. No use. It is of no use unless you take action and implement what you have learned. With this, I would like to wish you the best and thank you. You can share your questions with me and I will reply to you. These are the email IDs I have. I would like to acknowledge Tulsi Ram, one of our rising stars in our office. I'm sure he's a future partner also, for preparing such a nice PPT. I would have just given you, lines and lines. It would have been boring to watch. I think he has done a wonderful job. Thank you, Tulsi Ram. And I would like to thank Vignesh of Hiregange Academy, who has enabled this recording. We will share this with you as we go along. It will also be on the Hiregange Academy website. You could download this anytime you want. Have a wonderful year 2024.